your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the concept of seeing the signs of intuition through different mediums. Because friends, trust me on this thing that when we talk about gaining mastery over any form of occult subjects, whether you talk about tarot, palmistry, numerology, astrology, vastu science, a practicing astrologer or an occultist need to have strong intuition in order to guide his clients in the right direction. Trust me friends on this thing. At the time when I was going through my different courses back in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in India, so I still remember we used to have one subject and one class only for the shakuns, like what could be the omens which you have to, being a psychic, being a medium, being an occultist, you also have to include in your assessment, in your analysis. Like the way friends, when we talk about intuition, so I do not know what your definition of intuition is. What does Wikipedia or Google say on that? But my understanding on intuition is having this established connection with the nature. Like the way we say this thing, Purush and Prakriti. Because friends, like nature in itself is carrying the reservoir of secrets. It all comes down to individual, that whether your Chetana or your consciousness is evolved to such an extent that whether it can access those secrets much before in time or not. I still remember friends, there was this case study which I studied back in my Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan days, that in certain part of northeast in India, what they do is that how the local community of farmers assess that how much rain they are going to receive in this season. So they assess that on the basis of a specific bird, that how high or how tall that specific bird makes its nest on the tree. Basis that they get this assessment that whether they are going to receive very heavy rainfall or there is going to be a scarcity of the rain. I still remember friends, I read this case study as well, that at the time, like it has been around 10-15 years to be precise, and there was this very massive earthquake which once came in India, in Bhuj in Gujarat. So the local people in that area, they used to feed the birds in the morning, but that day when they arrived at the fixed spot, birds were not there. So they had this sense that something is gonna happen. So they have this established attuned connection with the nature. Like even if you will take the case of as simple and as smallest creature as a, so even when to get this idea that it's going to be rain, so it takes its eggs and store it in some different places. So this is what friends intuition is, that being able to access the secrets from the nature. I still remember friends, many times this happened, like it's not only my case but so many times I've seen this thing, that whenever I have certain thought on any yoga, any alignment or any post or any upcoming video title, because you know that my upload sequence is always random. Like this was not at all in the to-do list. I suddenly got this idea that okay, let's make a video on this topic. So many times what happens is that the yoga or the alignment which is going around in my mind, I come across the same post, same comment, same subject video within my community, like someone else has posted the same thing which I was thinking about, the same yoga, which is not very common, it is something very unique. So it all comes down to that nature is always trying to give you access to the secrets, but it's you only, that your evolutionary level, your consciousness, your Chetana has to be evolved to such an extent that you will be able to access all those secrets much before in time. And this is what my definition of intuition is. Now friends, coming back to the different subjects, because I do not know about all the sciences, but the sciences which I have by myself practiced. I have practiced palmistry, numerology, tarot, astrology. So I'm just going to be explaining it to you on those planes. So to begin with the palmistry. So friends, that's very simple. The beauty of palmistry is that, the changing lines in our palm tells about the way we are progressing in life, the direction which we are heading. Like the way I mentioned this thing so many times, I never had a long sun line, but the moment I started uploading videos on my YouTube channel, sun line which represents fame, my sun line not only appeared, it started growing longer. And also friends, my intuition line has also now appeared on my palm. So intuition line is something which you will find on the palm, on the left side on your palm, and a small line which is going to be making a connection with the mount of the moon and the mount of the Mercury. So mount of the moon, which tells about your imagination, which tells about your feelings, and Mercury is the domain of the intelligence. So a line which is connecting both these planes. Now friends, do not get confused with the Mercury line. Mercury line is different. Over here I'm talking about a curve. A curve has to be getting formed. Connecting your mount of Luna, mount of moon with the mount of Mercury is a sign in palmistry which tells about that yes, this person has got the knowledge of clairvoyance, or this person has got the knowledge of strong intuitive faculties. Now second thing is about numerology. So definitely friends, in numerology, the numbers which I have found in lot many charts, because obviously whenever someone book their reading with me, so I'm looking at their birth number, their destiny number, their life path number, and obviously their astrological assessment. So to begin with, number 2, which is the number of moon. Then comes the number 7, which is the number of Ketu, and after that number 9, which is the number of planet Mars. So because number 9 in numerology has got altogether different importance, because 9 is a number of divine standards. Like 9 is the number of prophetic dreams and living life completely on the divine standards. 2 is the number of moon, which has everything to do with your imagination, with your emotions, with your feelings. And 7 is the number of Ketu. So now friends, if you will find this pattern in your birth number, or you will find that in your, most importantly, life path number, by making a sum total of your complete birth details, date of birth, month of birth, year of birth, and reducing it to a single digit. If you will find 2, 7 or 9, that can be a good sign that you have that intuitive faculties. Now friends, when we talk about from astrology perspective, so now friends, to begin with, like first of all, we have to see which all houses we have to include in that. So now friends, because first house, which tells about your complete life, first house plays a very pivotal role. Then comes all the water houses, to be precise, like 4th house, 8th house, 12th house. So we have to include them. Apart from that, the trine houses like 5th house and 9th house. 5th house because whatsoever you have done in the past lifetime, like whatsoever mantra, japa, spiritual austerities, righteous deeds, helping people, being in the service of the humanity, so the fruits of that could appear in the form of some special talents. Now trust me friends on this thing, I do not know whether I have some special talent or not, but I have got the confidence and zeal and enthusiasm. And I have been to so many places. Like I still remember, like when I was in India, I attended some event in which there was one Punjabi singer. Once I heard his voice, and once there was this Indian bhajan singer like Suresh Wadekar, if I'm not wrong. And trust me friends, like when we say that some people are born with the talent, because we keep on talking to people on daily basis, but some people who are gifted, their voice is different. Like I still remember when that guy, he was not performing that time, he was talking to some other fellow. It's like, is he wearing a mic? Something is different about his voice. It's not normal voice. So this is what we say, that gift and talents and the blessings, like being born with some blessed gifts from your Ish Devta, from your gods. And even same was the case with Suresh Wadekar as well, because his voice I cannot forget, not only on television, on screen, but even in natural way, he has got some blessed and different voice. And same is the way friends, like I keep on going for different auditions and all of that, and when I see people, they're like, some people are exceptionally talented, and you can see that, and that is something which is little bit deviated from the regular usual course. So those gifts generally come from the 5th house. Now friends, why 9th house? 9th house becomes very important because whatsoever religious austerities we do, the result of that always comes through either Jupiter or the 9th house. So because of which all sort of religious austerities are seen from the 9th house. All sort of blessing from the gods can be seen and can be attached to the ninth house. Now friends, obviously the water houses does not need any explanation. Fourth house is the house of your deep inner emotional state. Eighth house is the actual house of the secrets of the secret knowledge of the functioning of the universe. And 12th house is the ultimate house of liberation, moksha. All communication with the other dimensions, other world takes place from the 12th house or the Ketu. So like the way we connect Jupiter and the 9th house, same way Ketu and the 12th house. Now friends, comes the planets. So definitely everything is going to hover around moon. Moon is the most important element, and all the yogas, all the placement, all the nakshatra, everything will hover around the moon. Now you might have very good psychic combination with Ketu and Jupiter, and even including the nakshatras and the houses. But if moon is not a part of it, moon is not receiving aspect, moon is not included in that, then you will not be able to access that thing. So in order for you to access that, moon has to be a part of it. And friends, when we talk about other planets, so definitely after moon, Ketu in itself is the chief significator of all other dimensions, all of your past life deeds. After that comes the Jupiter. You have to give attention to Jupiter as well. Religious austerities, all sort of prayers, all sort of worship. I remember friends, this one quote which I read somewhere, that on earth we have to know people to love them. And when we talk about divine plans and divine consciousness, you have to love them to know them. So definitely friends, Jupiter plays a very important role. It's the blessing, is the kripa from the gods, from your Ish Devta, which can make you extraordinary or could give you this extra sensory perception awareness. And friends, Saturn also plays a very pivotal role, because Saturn is the chief significator of Adhyatma. Like if Saturn wants your soul to elevate, Saturn wants you to connect with liberation, moksha, makes you come out of the cycle of life and death. So even without being any way connected with any religion, any prescribed form of religion, Saturn holds this key to grant you that. And that is the only reason, friends, that when we talk about Gautam Buddha or we talk about Buddhism, so in other religions, they might have paid attention to soul. Some religions have paid attention to the wisdom, but Gautam Buddha completely paid attention to the peace of the mind. So your soul spiritual elevation can be connected straight away with the planet Saturn. Now friends, when we talk about any influence of Saturn on your natal moon, definitely it can make you prone and vulnerable towards depression and all sort of mood swings and low mood. But again friends, this is how the malefic planets behave, and specifically planet like Ketu and Saturn. The only reason that they are bringing and putting you in a lot of misery, so that your mind should get deviate from the material world and should be more inclined towards your soul spiritual awareness and growth. So that is the only reason. This is how Saturn function. Trust me on this thing friends. I have always prayed and worship gods. I was born with those inclinations, and this is how I am. But my major progress happened at the time when my moon was getting tormented from Rahu and the Saturn influence. So in that depression, in that suicidal mode, I did not turn to addiction or drugs or anything. So my majority of the spiritual progress only happened when Saturn was very furiously, burning me with its fury and actually progressing my spiritual growth. So okay friends, now this was about the planetary involvement. So you have to see Moon, Saturn, Ketu, Jupiter. Now friends, when we talk about from the nakshatra perspective, so all the moon nakshatra falls in the earth signs. So I have not seen much of the intuitive potential in the Rohini, Hasta or Shravan. Definitely they can be artistic, they can be creative, they can be imaginative, but here I'm talking about clairvoyance and extrasensory perception and awareness. So after moon nakshatras, it's the Ketu nakshatras. All the three Ketu nakshatras, Ashwini, Magha, Mula, holds tremendous potential. When we talk about from Saturn's perspective, so not the Pushya but Anuradha holds a strong potential. That when we talk about being obsessively dedicated and devoted and being in love with your chosen personal deity or your Ish Devta or the gods, so Anuradha holds strong potential of accessing all those gifts and spiritual powers via the form of devotion and worship. And friends, when we talk about Uttar Bhadrapada, so Uttar Bhadrapada has got definitely over Uttar Bhadrapada, we do not talk much about devotion. Here we talk about adhyatma and spiritual awareness. So this is how the Saturnian nakshatra function in order to grant you those kind of intuitive faculties or strong intuition. And after that, friends, when we talk about from Jupiter's perspective, so in Purva Bhadrapada or Punarvasu, I am not seeing that sort of extrasensory awareness or perception, but little bit of the talent Vishakha can hold, Vishakha could possess, only if it's not getting obsessed with the material path. So this is the nakshatras, friends, which you have to take into consideration. Now let's start our placements over here. So now, friends, that's very simple. If you will find in any way, the most and the best combination is that if in someone's chart moon is conjunct with Ketu, and this combination is taking place like either in your first house, fourth house, fifth house, eighth house, ninth house, 12th house, trust me, you can have complete and strong faith in your intuitive faculties. You do not need any validation from the outside world. If your gut feel is not giving you permission for performing anything, performing any task, don't do that. And there has been those incidents which have happened, that the Titanic, like, which sank. So there was those people and families who turned down that ticket or that travel plan at the last moment, 11th hour. So there has been those incidences as well. So it means moon Ketu in these kind of houses which I just explained can make you and can grant you good intuitive faculties. Along with that, friends, when we talk about from Saturn's perspective, so Saturn's influence has to be studied in cahoots, in synchronicity with how other alignments are performing in your chart. Because let's say, for example, if your lagna, your ascendant lord, is weak and the dispositor of the moon is also weak, and over and above that, if moon is conjunct with Saturn, there is going to be more chances that rather than going towards the spiritual path or being access to being able to access all these esoteric secretive knowledge in the form of intuition, you might remain more prone towards the depression. So that is one red flag. So for the influence of Saturn on your moon, there are other conditions, eligibilities which need to be fulfilled. Like your ascendant lord has to be strong, your moon sign lord has to be strong, and over and above that, this combination, if it's taking place in any sort of the houses which I explained, then it can grant you that knowledge. And friends, when we talk about Jupiter's influence, so it becomes very important that it should be taking place in the water signs. So it's not only the house, but the sign becomes more important. So if your moon is placed in Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces and Jupiter is conjunct with it, it has to be conjunction more than the aspect of Jupiter. So if moon is conjunct with Jupiter in the water signs, and over and above that, if it is also placed in the first house, fourth house, fifth house, eighth house, ninth house, 12th house, then we can say this thing that your intuitive faculties might be good enough and might be pushing you in the right direction. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say. It is a very elaborative concept, but trust me, the players, the zodiac signs, the nakshatras, the houses which I have explained, these are the only entities which can play a very strong pivotal role in this direction. And now, friends, when we talk about how you can develop this thing, like how you can, if you do not have that in this lifetime, so for some other life or with the progress of your life journey, how can you progress those extrasensory perception? Because when we talk about that, when people see these superhero movies and all of that, we get very much fascinated that, oh my god, Superman has got that power, or this person has got this power. Trust me, this is what the potential of yoga and adhyatma is. All these powers are there in the nature which can be accessed. It all comes down to your intention and your dedication on that path. So friends, first of all, nothing can be accessed in the form of intuition by a person via a mind which is unstable. So here I'm not talking about, okay friends, there is one thing. One case is a stable mind. One case is very unstable mind, always resentful, quarrelsome, angry, either anxious for future or depressed, regretful because of the past. So this is the worst case, this is a normal case, and this is the case of a yogi, that you are always attuned in meditation, dhyan, adhyatma. So it's like if you are in that stage, that's a win-win situation. But even if you are grounded and rooted in the present, and your mind is at calm, at peace, that in itself can progress your growth. Second thing is that definitely the path of religion always help. Now, whether you are Muslim, you are Hindu, you are Sikh, you are Christian, you are whatsoever your religion, your identity is, worship of the gods can actually prove to be one strong medium to access those knowledge. And third thing is that, friends, how strongly you are attuned with nature. When was the last time you walk barefoot on the grass? When was the last time you sat in front of the beach and you took the stones in your hand and you appreciated the beauty of the nature? When was the last time you feed any birds, or fed any pet or anything? So an established connection with the nature needs to be very important, has to be over there, because intuition is nothing. It's just your awareness, your conscious awareness, to access all those secretive knowledge from the nature, from the universe, which is already existing over there. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs on this topic of intuition. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.